Welcome back to another wrestling talk discussion. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about Asuka versus Charlotte. Now, it was announced that in 3 weeks, Charlotte will face Asuka for the WWE Women's Championship, no longer the Raw Women's Championship. And the new belt design is pretty much the same replica as the Undisputed title, just, the strap is painted white. And that's about it, But they're most likely going to give Rhea Ripley the same title design as the World Heavyweight Championship. So it seems to me that they're doing away with the branded women's titles. They're going to stop calling it the Raw Women's title, stop calling it the SmackDown Women's title. That's good. I mean, especially if you're going to have your Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown and have your SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. It just kind of confuses fans, confuses the casuals. Like, why would your SmackDown Women's Champion be on Raw if they're supposed to represent that brand of the title? You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad they did away with that. Now on to Charlotte and Asuka. Now, part of me wants to believe that Asuka will have a long reign with the Women's Championship. I mean, why not? She deserves it. Asuka, I would say since coming to the main roster, she's been solid. Overall, pretty solid. She's had great performances, good matches. She recently had a character change. And going into it, we're thinking, okay, she's finally going to be booked how she was booked in NXT, going back to the old Asuka. But that quickly turned around when she started having competitive matches with Carmella. And then when she was supposed to squash her opponents leading up to facing Bianca at WrestleMania, it was supposed to make her a threat. It was supposed to make her believable in the one ending Bianca's reign as women's champion. But it looked far less likely for that to happen. And that's just based off how she was being booked on TV. She wasn't being booked to be this killer assassin, like this, this devastating striker, right? She wasn't being booked to be this badass that she was in NXT. So, part of that aura has been missing for a long time with Asuka. And she beat Bianca, which is good, but it wasn't clean, But as much as I would want to have an Asuka long title reign, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of fans, they want the same thing. They want Asuka to hold on to that belt for a long time. They want her to have a long reign, how she did in NXT. And the matchups that she could have with the likes of Io Sky, Charlotte again, and Bianca again, and other opponents, but that just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And I'm prepared to deal with that. As an Asuka fan, I'm prepared to deal with that reality that, listen, when Charlotte Flair comes back, you already done know she's right back in the title picture. No questions about it. No and, if, buts. Nothing. No number one contendership. No working your way up to the, to a title match. No. Charlotte Flair music hits, back to the title scene she goes. And it's only a matter of time until she becomes champion. I mean, if, the last time wasn't it a perfect example when she first came back, you know, December of last year, immediately she won the women's title from Ronda. Immediately, once her music hit, the match started, new women's champion. I mean, what makes you think that's not going to be a repeat? Like, she beat Ronda Rousey. This is Ronda Rousey she beat. So you mean to tell me that history is not going to really repeat itself? I mean, there's a track record here with Charlotte. Usually when Charlotte gets herself back into a title scene of being, after being absent from television for a long period of time, what usually happens is they'll reinsert her back into the title scene and then she wins the title. If not right away, it'll be a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, but she's back in the title scene, so it's only a matter of time until she becomes the women's champion again. I mean, history should kind of tell you guys what to expect. And how they treated Asuka in the past, it won't surprise me if Asuka loses Charlotte when she's. I think her and Bianca are scheduled for Money in the Bank, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're doing a rematch with Bianca and Asuka at Money in the Bank. But I mean, most likely it could just be a disqualification. Asuka may get herself disqualified. There's no way Charlotte is going to lose to Asuka. Now, I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised if Asuka wins and she gets a clean win over on Charlotte. That would surprise me. That would really surprise me. And then she goes on to beat Bianca clean. I mean, wow. I mean, what a concept, right? What a concept. But I don't see that happening. I see a triple threat, maybe at SummerSlam, Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte. But I think the real money match, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I don't think this needs a title match, and that's Bianca Belair versus Charlotte at SummerSlam. That match alone doesn't need a title. You can easily do a match between those two and not have a title on the line. And from the looks of it, it seems that Bianca is slowly transitioning into a heel turn, which I'm all for that, because Bianca Belair with more attitude is a lot more entertaining than humble Bianca Belair. I don't like humble Bianca. I like Bianca Belair with more attitude, just more cockiness, arrogance. Like, that's how she was in NXT. So let's kind of get that character back. And I feel like Asuka should go on to fight Io. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think Io Sky going to win Money in the Bank, and then she'll cash in on Asuka, and they'll fight for the title at SummerSlam. That's just my prediction. And then Asuka will somehow escape Bianca and Charlotte for now and get a win over on both of them in a triple threat, maybe at Money in the Bank. And then she moves on to Io Sky at SummerSlam. I feel like that's a money match too. Io Sky and Asuka. Why not? And that'll be the perfect way to break Io Sky away from Damage Control. Because that's a match that a lot of people still want to see. But yeah, this is the WrestleMania 34 rematch, basically. And I don't see this match ending in a clean way. But at the same time, don't be surprised if Charlotte wins. And then they really just introduced that title just for Charlotte to win. and then they easily dispose of Asuka and get her out the way. Then they move on to Charlotte and Bianca. That could be another path they take, is just completely get Asuka out the way. She's pretty much just a pawn. And then we get Bianca and Charlotte at SummerSlam for the title. And then Asuka's back to, I guess, being mediocre and not having no direction, which would be a crying shame. Because, quite frankly, I'm tired of them booking Asuka inconsistently. If you're going to give Asuka the title, give her a long reign with the title. Give her a long run. Charlotte doesn't need the title. Bianca doesn't need the title. How many reigns has Charlotte had as women's champion? What, like 15? 14, if I'm not mistaken? She don't need a title. But every time she comes back, she's basically guaranteed a title shot. So, and Bianca herself, she had a long reign as women's champion for over a year. So, it's Asuka's time. It's Asuka's time to run with that belt and to carry the division, So I see it going either way. They go to a disqualification finish. Bianca interferes because she's angry that Charlotte got a title shot and not her first. Bianca might interfere, or Asuka might cheat to beat Charlotte, or Bianca maybe inadvertently costs Charlotte the match. Who knows? They do a triple threat at Money in the Bank. We'll have to see what happens. But personally, I want Asuka to win, and I think she should beat Charlotte clean. That's just me personally. So give me your thoughts down below. What do you think? Who do you think will win between Charlotte and Asuka? Do you think it's going to go to another disqualification? Do you think Bianca will interfere in the match and, attack both women? And do you think Asuka deserves a long reign, a long run with the women's title? So give me your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, also known as Rational Wrestling Viewer, and I'm out. Peace.